live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Miq Strawn.
Set in a Chicago neighborhood, nearly a decade after an occupation by an extraterrestrial force, Captive State explores the lives on both sides of the conflict. Not really, did it?
I didn't.
The collaborators and dissidents.
Oh, okay, those sides.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
but it didn't
right.
really explore the extraterrestrial side of things.
No, it didn't. And may
I think I would have
say,
preferred that. I would have rather seen their side of things. It might have been more interesting.
The extraterrestrials look like a combination of a mop, maybe crossed with a porcupine.
Well, you said something
crossed
about
with the thing.
You said something about a cactus attacking somebody.
Oh, that's exactly what it looked exactly like a Soroyo cactus.
And I think I laughed for like 10 minutes and I...
Look, he's being attacked by a Soroyo cactus.
Well, this one looked promising. It had John Goodman in it, and it had an interesting trailer, for sure.
Yeah, but
I knew nothing about it other than...
Nothing. Okay, people, here's the thing. This film was, what was it? It was 8 hours long? How long was it?
It felt like it was 8 hours long.
It was 8 hours long.
And you were waiting for something to happen.
And Kurt...
I know. I was. Yeah,
Kurt
this is
didn't
crazy.
make it. Kurt. There was a little plot point which we were waiting for. There's a major plot point, maybe about, I'm going to say, 5 minutes before the end.
Right.
Yeah. And
I'd hung in there.
And he hung on to that point.
Until that point.
And then all of a sudden I heard what sounded like a baby crying. And I was like, is that part of the script? Because it didn't seem like there was a baby crying anywhere. I saw no baby, so I didn't know why one would be crying. And I look over, and Kurt is asleep. And when he snores, it sounds like a baby.
That's my Three Stooges snore.
Yeah, it was. And sure enough, then there was the plot point that made...
And then I think I woke up right after it was all wrapped up, basically.
But I am saying right now that...
But the thing, I'm not sad that I missed it. That's what I gotta say.
No, you know what? If I don't know how
you filled me in, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was.
I feel really refreshed right now. I feel like I can run a marathon now.
Yeah, it was. Well, this is because you had a nap, a nice, refreshing nap in the middle of the film that we're supposed to review.
Well, I can tell you what I saw. I thought it was really boring.
It was boring.
I was just watching different characters run and just run through the streets. And
it was, here was the thing. It was running, but it was running in a really dreary landscape that looked like a low rent. It looked like a low rent Scandinavian film about the devil.
Yeah.
And it just kept going on and on and on. And
there was that THX 113A kind of feel
right,
to it.
Exactly.
But I didn't enjoy it as much as THX.
Yeah,
113A.
no, it went on forever, and
it had that really hypnotic music and the movement. That's what made me fall asleep. Probably.
And there was a weird thing about it. It had music to it that kept making you thinking that it was gonna. The music built up and built up and built up and built up,
and then it just kind of fizzled.
Yeah, and then it would fizzle away. And nothing would happen but the music. And then after a while, I realized that the only thing that was happening in this film was the music.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and it went on and on that way. There was a subplot in there that had to do with things that you just didn't care about. I mean, there was supposed to be an explosion, but we didn't see it. It was very brief and
right.
And like I say, you
never saw the go down in the elevator,
right? And the evil. Well, you see, that was the big explosion. We saw the other explosion, which was that little bit of fire in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with the monsters looking like sort of like a computer generated Soroyo cactus.
I gotta say though, the opening was pretty freaking awesome, where the windshield blew up and the thing happened.
When the what?
Yeah, when
yeah.
That was an awesome way to open the movie. I was like, oh, okay, I have
this
promise
is going to be moving,
This is gonna be interesting.
This is blah blah blah. Or the Rock.
I feel like it was going to be like a Cloverfield movie.
The Rock going across the ocean was hilarious.
Oh god, that was awful.
It literally looked like a rock just went, and then it goes up. And that's it.
Yeah, the spaceship. It was.
Yeah,
pretty...
it was. K&B did some of the practical effects, but I thought all the effects looked primarily like they were CGI. It was curious to me, who made the Soroyo cactus? Wait, there was another creature. The creature that was in the bus.
Well, I think he was wearing a spacesuit
because you were asleep.
He was wearing a spacesuit.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, it was a spacesuit.
I was like this at that point. I was watching it with one eye. No, actually, I kind of liked the suits that they were wearing on the buses when they were going through the crowd and grabbing people.
Yeah, and kind
of looked like a Halo type of outfit.
So you know what this was all about? It was about resistance,
right?
Resist. Resistance
is futile.
Yeah, resistance.
Not really.
Yeah. Man.
Well, see, you and I actually. No, maybe not. You're kind of a baby boomer, aren't you? Technically.
Resist.
I was thinking you were like the generation that would, resist.
Yeah.
Anarchy.
Well, I am.
Take on the man.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Hello.
And
I am. I mean, that's,
my generation definitely challenges authority.
Your generation doesn't care.
But we would do it in a lackadaisical way.
Yes, that's right.
I'm not gonna do that. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
But so this was directed by a guy.
Which generation are you exactly?
Generation X.
Oh, you're X?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This was directed by a guy who did a series I actually liked, The Exorcist, on the TV series.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Cool.
Yeah?
But oh, no, he produced that.
Let's see. The Exorcist, The Gambler.
And I guess he directed one episode.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which was horrible.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Escapist, Subterrane. And
you recognize the guy on this that I recognized from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Nicotero.
Yeah, Greg Nicotero.
Yeah.
Yeah. Greg was one of the main producers of The Walking Dead, and basically he's one of the members of K&B.
Well, isn't he directing some of the episodes still on Walking Dead? I don't know. I mean, I haven't actually watched it for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. After the second year of the Walking Dead, after the girl walked out of the barn, I was done. That was it. I said, "Oh, that's good. That's because I'll give I will give 2 years to anything."
I'm trying to realize when I bailed on it when that Lion King guy came out on, and right after that, there was a really violent episode with Negan, and I just said, I can't. I'm done with this, and whatever.
I give everything 2 years, and if it doesn't totally grab me, I just don't care.
That's reasonable. I mean, 2 years is well, actually, I've noticed a lot of series that I like, they usually start sucking in the third season.
See, the thing is first of all, I think that in general there are about 2 years worth of stories before you recycle them. Okay. Yeah. The other thing is this.
Unless it's Three's Company.
There is always. Oh, shut up! There wasn't a story to that. Well, the other thing is that there is the monetary curse at 3 years. At the third year, they usually balance the books at 2 years.
Right.
And then the production company wants to then start making some money. And so you'll find that in the third year, the writers aren't as good. The stories aren't as complex. There's a lot more bottle shows. There's a lot there's a lot of shooting on the stage and not going out at all. fewer complicated shots. I mean, you know, it's you start to, you know, you go formula after 2 years. Everybody does, and it's just the nature of you know, you always hear about like the big producer, the big guy who started, like Aaron Sorkin or something. You know, it's between 2 and 4 years they always walk off. They walk off and they let the series go on with, you know, whoever's left standing. Bob from accounting, for instance.
Well, there's some series that do better though, that I've been surprised by.
Oh yeah, like.
Well, Walking Dead was one. I liked it for more than 2 seasons for sure, but that was just my opinion.
Yeah, I just get bored. I get
really
bored
like Breaking Bad. That was a kick-ass show.
That's true.
And that whole thing.
You know, but I have to tell you, there's a difference when you understand the mechanics of a show. A show will the mechanics always tell. You know, at a certain point, after 2 years, you usually see the mechanics repeating themselves, and that's the point where you can tell from then on what a show is going to do.
So like Law and Order has been doing it for what, 20 years?
Yeah, Law and Order is a perfect
it's a
example.
formula.
But yeah,
totally.
Let me tell you how much of a formula it is. On Law and Order, the guy that you just barely see within the first 10 minutes that is somebody you recognize. That's the guy that did it.
Right.
They won't even have him come back on until
the end.
Until, you know, the last 10 minutes at the end. But he's the guy that did it. He's the guy that's running the hot dog stand out front. You know, when the detectives are walking by and they say, "Well, what about this guy? He was a witness." "Well, I don't know, officer." And that's the guy. You know, because you're not going to see him again. And it's like, all of a sudden, you're going to get 50 minutes in, and the cop will go, "Well, wait a minute."
And it's somebody like Clint Howard. That, you know, somebody
exactly. Somebody recognizable, not a big star, not an enormous star, but, you know. And you know what? Here's the weird thing about it is, and this is, back in the day, people that worked on commercials and the commercials and the guys who came in for the single day on stuff for like a guest star or
right.
You know, there are all kinds of formulas as to what you're called. You know, where your credit is and like how much they're going to pay you. But here's the thing, it's a lot less than you think. Go ahead and guess that if you had a guy that came on as guest star on a weekly something or other, you know, like
am I in the 80s or am I in current day?
Current day.
Okay.
Current day. What do you think? What do you think they get paid for the maybe 2 or 3 days that they're going to work on that?
$1,000.
Oh, come on. You know, now you're just trying to piss me off.
I am.
No, it's about it's about $6,500.
Okay, I was actually lowballing by far.
Yeah, I know you were, and you were just trying to make me look bad.
I mean, I would take $1,000 to work for 2 days. Yeah, but that's just me.
Yeah, but you know, it used to be in the 80s even that, you know, if you got a speaking role, if you spoke, it was about $650 if a day if you said anything. Right? Not if you were a guest star, not if you were the guy that came up, "Would you like a muffin, sir?" That guy got $650 in the 80s, right?
Wow.
And now it's like a quarter of that. You know, unions are just losing power everywhere.
Well, TV wasn't it? I mean, TV was a lot bigger in the 80s and like guest stars. Well, that was a thing in the 80s. Well, I don't know if it really is anymore.
Well, it was more concentrated money.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is there's an awful lot more stuff filming now.
Well, I'm thinking of like shows that like Love Boat and Fantasy Island where they had nothing but guest stars.
Well, yeah, but you see, the thing is it was concentrated because you only had so many channels,
and so many actors that were rotated through them.
Right, and yeah,
because if you watched a lot of the shows from the 80s, you saw the same people rotate through them.
Well, you see, another problem is this: is the Actors Guild, the SAG, Screen Actors Guild, has always had this problem that it's most of the people, I mean, the vast majority, and I'm not kidding, like maybe 95% of the people that are in SAG don't make squat from SAG. They're probably at less than $5,000 a year, by far less than $5,000 a year, and primarily most of their money is coming from Denny's Corporation. And yet it's sort of like dumb republicanism. The Republicans keep getting into the House of Representatives with this vast middle of America kind of groups of people in these little communities and stuff. Just barely enough brain cells to tie together. It's sort of like, I mean, really, they get to the voting booth and they almost have to pass the brain cell from one to the other in order to vote. And they vote very, 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 very conservative and get together. And then the Senate is more statewide, and it has a tendency to elect people who are actually can think a little bit, But that's what happens here. Is you have all these dumb people that are working at Denny's, and you have like the 5% stars, and when they strike, nothing good ever comes from it. Right. It's negotiating nightmare. So
wow,
sort of
that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you going to cut out all the political stuff that I just did?
I don't know.
Yeah, don't. It was fun.
It was fun. I don't know if I see. I'm in the clear because you couldn't hear whether I was shaking my head yes or no.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Play it neutral around me, will you, baby?
So that was actually the best non-review we've done for a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Is there anything you liked about
that film?
Whatever that movie was called.
What was it called? Come on, now you got it.
Captive State.
Captive State.
It was confusing. I was a Captain Marvel, and right next to it was Captive State.
It was ugly. Yeah. Well, let's see. It was ugly looking. It was confusing.
It was very confusing. It was slow paced. Music was very disturbing.
It was slow paced, but at least nothing happened.
Well, the music was confusing, and it didn't make any sense.
The musical cues were build, and then build.
Acting was good.
Acting was the acting was okay.
Did a great job, I thought, but
yeah, they did. But the thing is how that thing goes is I would actually watch John Goodman just read out of a phone book, but I feel like I just did.
Pretty much.
But for 2 hours? Come on, for 2 hours?
And the movie was so bad that he had to do something.
Yeah, he actually had to do something. He had to walk around and look angry and grumpy. I need somebody to feed me.
Yeah, his new look is, I got used to seeing him in the Rosanne show and stuff.
Me too.
Did you see the new Rosanne show where before Rosanne had the problem?
Had the problem. The problem.
Well, he just looked so skinny. It was like distracting.
Yeah. I don't do Rosanne.
Yeah,
I tried
to watch the reboot.
I have worked with her.
I know
before.
You did the behind the scenes, right? I think you told me about that.
Yeah, I've worked with Rosanne before, and she's kind of fun, kind of a nutbag, and kind of squirrely.
Story time. Story time. It's story time with Miq. 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 Story time with Miq.
And she's not bad to work with, but she really has kind of an edge to her. That she specifically wants specific things.
Well, she's a comedian.
Yeah,
and she has that kind of sense of humor, right? That edgy kind of.
Yeah. No. She's a very, very edgy person.
Funny. Yeah, I think she's great.
I'll honestly say that, in working with her, it was supposed to be her big comeback and all that she was not nearly as obnoxious or politically opinionated or strange to people around. The situation of the show was weird. It's really weird because here we were all the people in the background, and they were making a film. They were literally making a TV show about the making of the TV show that ran that was supposed to be. Now this was the big thing, is it was going to be the new Roseanne show, and then there was going to be a half an hour. That was supposed to be an hour show, and it was kind of a talk show. And after her talk show for an hour, then she would be back on, and there would be a half an hour show about the making of the 1 hour show.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was really weird because the thing about it is that you learned was that nobody can shut up in front of a camera. And so we would be working on the set. I would be designing, and we would be building out the set, and we would be on the stage, and the set would be getting bigger and bigger and bigger because people would stand in front of the set, and there would be producers and the director and all these people associated would go in and do what they normally do, is they just stand there and then they mumble to each other and then they go away. I mean, that's the way that it's done, right? But what these guys did is when you put a camera in front of these dorks, when you put a camera in front of them, it's a problem. Is that my notes for the next? Oh, that's great. Okay.
Is it the next one?
No, it's not. I think that's that one. No, when you put a camera in front of somebody, they have to say something. Right. And when they say something, invariably, it's like they'll make a change to the set, which is, that's really distressing because, like every 2 days they'd come out of the set, they'd come out and the camera would be right there, and they're supposed to just stand and then walk away because they don't know, they're idiots, right? but no, the thing is they can't, because all of a sudden a camera swings in front of them. They have to say, "Hey, Bob, don't you think that corner over there should be blue?" And then they have a long discussion about that. And then all of a sudden, they would go away, and 20 minutes later, go, we really, Mick, come on up to the office. Mick, why wasn't it blue in the first place? Well, it was because it was another color, and we all agreed on that then. Well, really, Phil over there, he really thinks that should be blue. Okay, great. And he's on camera saying that, so, you really got... So then we go down and we would paint that blue, and then 2 days later, Bob would be on, wow, I don't know why I got painted blue. And it just went... And here's how bad it got. Literally, the stage that we started out was this little tiny,
right?
The budget was low and the stage was small, and we expanded this set just like, we need a wall over here. We should build this. We're gonna build that, and then the set is too big for that stage. We can't get the people in. Right, and so we moved to another stage. So then we went through the same exact process. I mean, you could see it coming from 10 miles away. I mean, you just like, oh my God, I just know this is going to just keep on going. And it did. I mean, we kept building and building and building and building. And then they were like, oh, well, you know what? Obviously we don't have room for an audience anymore, so we're gonna go to the ABC lot. So then we go to the ABC lot, and we get like the second biggest audience stage that they have. And man, I'm telling you, if it hadn't that they assigned a date to it, right. I mean, if it hadn't been that we were working up to that date, I swear that we would have built it over the whole hill. over all the Hollywood Hills, it would be that big by that point if they kept filming these guys standing in front of it. And it was only by virtue of the fact that eventually they just said, well, we have to film the thing. And I go, well, trust me when I say I wasn't stopping you. All you guys have to do is shut up for 10 minutes and we could actually film this son of a bitch. But I have a friend who was one of the carpenters, and he kind of like, I dragged him from school, right? You know, and he's standing back, you know, and then next thing you know, he says, I'm standing by the doorway there, and he's actually, I guess, the one that has to open the door and close the door. He says, so he's standing back there. He says, all of a sudden, behind him, there's this enormous burp. Right. And he doesn't even look behind him. Says he goes, wow, that was a good one, right? And Roseanne goes, yeah, thanks.
Oh, that's great.
And then he opened the door, and in she went. So,
wow.
What was the name of the film that we were watching again?
Captain Marvel?
No. Captain State, right?
No, Captive State, not Captain State.
Captive State. So what did you think of Captive State? I mean, numerically speaking.
1.9 probably. I give it some credit for something.
Really?
I don't know what I'm giving credit for. The camera movement was interesting. There you go. Sure, I'll give it something.
None of it was interesting to me. Absolutely none.
I'm under a 2. I'm definitely under a 2. I don't know where to put it.
I'm gonna go with a 1. Wow, I was so pathetic about it, you know. And it's funny that they have this one still shot that they built. It's amazing. That they built for her. Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist in here.
And then the best scene was the opening scene, and then it was downhill from there.
Yeah.
That's probably why I give it a 1.9. Just for that one scene, I give it like...
You just really like the motorboating rock.
Yeah.
That was funny. God, that rock.
Tied on a string.
That rock was great. Yeah. Yeah, it literally looked like somebody was just pulling something on a string across there. It's like,
it was like a Monty Python type look.
It was. Yeah. It had that Terry Gilliam kind of...
I was waiting for the weird music to start.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
I don't know where I am, but I think I've said enough.
Well, I think you're right. I think I have said enough.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.